From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. Time is precious, time is money, and this is the time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. This is the network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economic sector of society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of viewers the business, financial, and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about government economic activities, private sector business activities, laced with expert opinions, stakeholders' analyses, and correspondence reports. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, or you can watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We take a short break, and when we return, we fill out the details. Stay tuned.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now on to the stories proper. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has criticized the federal government for its delay in implementing the duty-free food importation policy, particularly following the arrival of a 32,000-ton shipment of brown rice from Thailand in Lagos. The rice, imported through logistics firm Ducat, was intended to mitigate the escalating food inflation, which dropped to 39.84% in December 2024 from the November 2024 rate of 39.93%. The LCCI noted that the shipment arrived after the expiration of the government's 180-day duty-free import window, raising concerns about the policy's effectiveness and timing. In a statement to newsmen, LCCI Director General Chinyere Almona said the delayed arrival of the rice shipment undermines the government's intention to curb food inflation. Such policies must be executed timely to stabilize food prices effectively. The chamber highlighted that despite the government's efforts, food prices remain on an upward trajectory, significantly affecting household purchasing power and business operations. The rising cost of food is eroding the average Nigerian spending capacity and threatening economic stability. The importation of rice to fill local supply gaps is a necessary fiscal intervention, but the timing of this policy implementation is critical. Almona added, The LCCI clarified that such interventions are not aimed at undermining local rice producers, but at addressing supply gaps in the face of mounting demand. The LCCI Director General recommended that to tackle the persistent food inflation crisis, Nigeria must boost agricultural productivity by increasing investment in agricultural value chains, including better storage facilities and the distribution of fertilizers and grains to farmers. She urged policy consistency, stating, "We need policies that are not only well conceived but also implemented without delay." Further, Almona called for renewed focus on addressing security challenges. She stressed that insecurity remains a significant obstacle to agricultural production, and resolving these challenges is key to improving food supply. The chamber reiterated its call for fiscal reforms, emphasizing that tackling structural economic challenges and investing in local production would yield long-term benefits. Rate hikes alone will not curb inflation. Nigeria needs comprehensive fiscal interventions to stabilize food prices, Almona concluded. The rice shipment and its implications sparked renewed debates on the federal government's handling of food inflation and the effectiveness of its policy measures, in line with organized private sector members' criticism. Plateau State government on Thursday disbursed 5 billion naira to empower 140 farming communities across the 3 senatorial zones of the state. The State Commissioner for Environment, Climate Change and Mineral Development, Peter Gwom, disclosed this on Thursday during a ceremony to showcase the agro-climatic resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape Project Day and the flag-off of the Community Revolving Fund, which took place at the Rayfield Government House in Jos. Gwom explained that the fund disbursement under the Community Revolving Fund, an initiative of the World Bank under Acresol project, aims to boost agricultural production, improve food security, and enhance the livelihoods of local communities in the state. The commissioner said, "Today, we will distribute a pilot scheme focusing on 10 communities. Each of the communities will receive $25,000 through the Community Revolving Fund Management Team. The Community Revolving Fund is a pilot project aimed at enhancing agricultural resilience and promoting sustainable practices targeted at groups in identified communities. It is further designed to empower local communities by providing them with funds necessary to implement innovative and adaptive strategies which are crucial in improving agricultural productivity. The expectation is that the CRF will be self-sustaining to enable more groups within the same communities to benefit. The project will continue to train and prepare more communities in other local government areas. In total, we will be distributing the fund to 140 communities spread across the 3 senatorial zones of the state, total of $3.5 million, or well above 5 billion naira. The state governor, Caleb Musfuang, thanked the World Bank for the initiative and charged the benefiting communities to make maximum use of the funds, emphasizing that the initiative is designed to create a revolving financial opportunity for broader community development. I want to thank the World Bank for the initiatives you've introduced on the plateau. Let me assure you that by the grace of God, none of these projects will fail. We are committed to ensuring that the funds and equipment are judiciously used to uplift our people, the governor said. Mosfuang, who also inaugurated 20 tractors for farming communities across the state, disclosed that his administration, through the Plateau Agricultural Development Program, has mapped out plans to secure over 200 tractors to further boost agricultural activities, ensuring food security and sovereignty across the state. Beyond implementing projects, our focus is to ensure that these investments lift our people out of poverty. The bottom line is to improve the standard of living of our people by reducing poverty, he added. The governor urged citizens of Plateau State to unite in supporting government initiatives, cautioning against decisive tendencies that hinder progress. He also highlighted the need for every available piece of land, especially in schools, to be cultivated during the coming farming season. The World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Dr. India Diop, congratulated the 10 beneficiary communities and underscored the importance of addressing climate change's adverse effects on agriculture. He noted desertification and climate change pose serious threats to agriculture, a key livelihood for Plateau residents. Through AgriSol, we aim to help vulnerable communities adapt to climate impacts while improving their livelihoods. This initiative complements a comprehensive framework for land and water management through a 10-year watershed plan. Diop commended Mufswang and his team for their dedication to the project's success and urged the communities to use the funds responsibly for the benefits of their members. The event also featured commendations from state officials, including the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Gabriel Dewan, AgriSol Task Team Leader Dr. Joy Iganya Agini, Commissioner of Environment, Climate Change and Mineral Development, and Chairman of Plateau AgriSol Project State Steering Committee, Honorable Peter Kanang Wom, and Plateau State AgriSol Coordinator, Mr. Garba Gowan Konkun, praised Mufswang for fostering a conducive environment for meaningful partnership that directly benefits the people of Plateau State. The 10 benefiting communities include Guratop, Kerang, Zamko, Ampang West, Dinting, Jimin, Kala, Plateau, Club and Bingham, Pishi, Yashai and Wiri. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lobobiri, has said the price of crude oil in the international market remains a major force in driving the fluctuations in the pump prices of petrol. He said that the downstream sector is now fully deregulated, with the government no longer involved in setting prices. The minister said this at the inaugural meeting of the Petroleum Industry Stakeholders Forum held on Thursday in Abuja. Newsman reports that there have been fresh concerns over the potential increase in the pump prices of petrol after the cost of Brent, the global benchmark for crude, crossed $80 per barrel. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lobobiri, has said the price of crude oil in the international market remains a major force in driving the fluctuations in the pump prices of petrol. He said the downstream sector is now fully deregulated, with the government no longer involved in setting prices. The minister said this at the inaugural meeting of the Petroleum Industry Stakeholders Forum held on Thursday in Abuja. Newsman reports that there have been fresh concerns over a potential increase in the pump prices of petrol after the cost of Brent, the global benchmark for crude, crossed $80 per barrel. On Monday, private depots increased the loading cost of petrol and other refined petroleum products to 950 naira per litre. However, marketers at the meeting allayed fears over the imminent rise in the price, noting it won't be immediate. Lobobiri, speaking to journalists after the meeting, pointed out that deregulation ended all malfeasance associated with the petrol subsidy policy. According to him, the government is now more interested in quality control as petrol prices are not controlled or predicted by an individual but by market forces. He said the whole essence of the regulation is for price to find its level. Before now, you agree with me that every day you are hearing negative news about petrol subsidies. Today, you journalists have no negative news about petrol subsidies because it is completely regulated and the price will find its level. As oil price goes up, petrol price will go up, and as oil price come down, the price will come up. During the Christmas season, I was in Bayelsa and I tried to go around different filling stations. Some filling stations were selling 1,020 naira, while others were selling 999 naira. Others were 1,015 naira. What we are concerned about, and have always had that discussion with you, with the authority chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, is that the government is more interested in quality control. The government is more interested in availability and what the government is particularly interested in is the dispensation of the right quantity. If you are buying 10 liters of PMS, let it be that you are not shortchanged by the retail filling station. Issues, and once there is competition, people have a choice, and that's why you don't see any queues. However, the national president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Abubakar Mai Gandhi, attributed the current reduction in prices of petrol to the partnership reached with the Dangote refinery. According to him, members of the association have begun loading petrol from the alongside the MRS filling station from late last year, leading to a reduction in the retail price of petrol across the country. He said, "We have been loading with the Dangote refinery as same with the MRS. We have an agreement between MRS, Dangote and independent marketers. That is why we sell at a lower price than other marketers because of the partnership with Dangote, and we have a uniform price everywhere in the country. We sell for 935 naira per liter." Speaking, the chairman of the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, Hub Stockman, explained that although pump price is affected by crude oil cost, this may not be immediate. He said the recent rise in crude oil price does not automatically mean an increase in petrol price. Stockman, who is also the managing director NMPCL Retail, noted, I think that crystal ball conversation, if you know what I mean, because crude and product prices don't always directly relate. So that's when the crude changes, immediately other products that are derivatives from it change. So if I knew, I would probably not be standing here, but I would do something else. But I think normally there is a correlation, but I think it is too early to say when or what impact it would have. He, however, admitted that crude oil is a major component of the pricing template, noting that other markets also determine the cost of PMS. Earlier in his address at the meeting, the chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Benga Komolafe, said the NUPROC was working hard in collaboration with stakeholders to increase Nigeria's oil production, adding that the number of active oil rigs has increased by 79% from 8 in 2021 to 38. He said the upstream sector experienced growth in the national oil and gas reserves by 1.25% and 0.206% respectively in 2024 compared with 2023, and oil production rose by 26% from April 2023 to November 2024. This active rig count increased from an average of 8 in 2021 to 38 as of today, representing 79% growth. Also, with effective collaboration with the security agencies, the theft and defilement has reduced drastically by more than 40% in the last year. The import of this is that it is not all gloomy for the federal government has announced plans to distribute 75,000 cash to about 70 million poorest of the poor Nigerians by 2025. This was disclosed by Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Professor Nentawa Yulwata, during his appearance on the morning show on Arise TV television yesterday. According to Yulwata, the ministry aims to deploy the program across 36 states of the Federation by the end of January 2025, addressing the registration of up to 18.1 million Nigerian households through the National Identity Number NIN system. We want to deploy by the end of January across 36 states to ensure we start harvesting the NIN number of up to 18.1 million Nigerian households that we need to capture as fast as possible so that we can make payments for them, the minister said. The target of the president is that we should spend 15 million. We should target 15 million households. And an average household is, we are discussing here, roughly about 70 million households with about 75,000 per person this year, the minister noted. After months of tension over the controversial tax reform bills, Nigeria's 36 governors and the presidency have finally reached a consensus, shelving plans to increase value-added tax VAT rates and introduce a more equitable revenue sharing formula. The resolution came during subnational consultations with the Presidential Tax Reform Committee in Abuja, marking a significant step towards resolving one of the nation's most divisive fiscal debates. In a communique issued at the end of the meeting yesterday, the Nigerian Governors Forum (NGF) announced that both parties had agreed to drop the proposed VAT increase. The communique, signed by NGF Chairman Abdulrazak, Governor of Kwara State, reviewed a revised VAT sharing formula aimed at equity. The formula revenue be shared as follows: 50% based, 30% based on derivation, and 20% based on population. The governors also oppose any increase in VAT rates or reduction in corporate income tax (CIT) at this time, emphasizing the need for economic stability. The NGF further advocated for the continued exemption of essential goods and agricultural produce from VAT to protect citizens' welfare and enhance agricultural productivity. Also, the communique noted that development levies related to TET Fund, Nasani, and NITDA should not have terminal clauses in the proposed bills. It also expressed support for the continuation of legislative processes in the National Assembly for the eventual passage of the tax reform bills. The primary areas of contention in the four tax reform bills were the VAT sharing templates in the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, that suggested reducing the federal government's share of VAT while allocating 55% to state governments. The derivation where goods and services are consumed. The proposal to increase VAT rates had also drawn criticism. It had outlined a progressive hike from 7.5% to 10% in 2025, 12.5% by 2029, and 15% by 2030. By resolving these issues, the presidency and governors aim to ensure the tax reforms promote fairness, economic stability, and sustained development across the nation. Meanwhile, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, chairman of the Senate Committee, asked others in northern Nigeria. Speaking during the Saraduna Memorial Day in Kaduna, the senator who represents Kogi Central Senatorial District called for the revitalization of the North's socio-economic and cultural heritage to enhance its economic prospects. Her remarks were contained in a statement issued yesterday by media aide Aaron Bonlo Israel in Abuja. Akpoti-Uduaghan urged the region to draw inspiration from the vision of the late Saraduna of Sokoto, Amadou Bello, who led northern Nigeria to economic prosperity in the 1950s. She highlighted the region's past successes, citing that in 1959, Nigeria's groundnut exports to the United Kingdom were valued at 27 million euros, equivalent to 3.6 trillion naira today. The only reason why the North is jittery about the tax reforms is because we are ill-prepared, she said. If we were generating naira from one agricultural product, would we be bothered about the reforms? Hence, we must ask our leaders with developmental mindset to step up the entrepreneurial ecosystems so our land and farmers can be active once again. Let's ask from a position of economic abundance for our region and country at large. The senator called for collaboration among northern leaders and civil society to revitalize the region's agricultural and industrial potential, urging them to embrace innovative solutions to foster development. Also, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has called on the National Assembly to protect the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, from being dismantled under the proposed Nigeria Tax Bill 2024. The 2025 budget defense session of the Nigeria Police Force (NPF) turned chaotic yesterday as lawmakers erupted into a heated dispute culminating in a dramatic walkout by Senator Onyekachi Nwabonyi, APC Ebonyi North. The disruption marred the Joint Committee session, which was supposed to review the police budget and assess the Inspector General's funding request. The Joint Committee on Agricultural Production and Services also expressed disappointment over the decision of some heads of agencies to travel during the ongoing budget defense. However, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said the 49.74 trillion budget must be made to give utmost priority to the welfare of every Nigerian. The uproar began when the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, was presenting details of the police budget, particularly regarding the construction of 5 zonal police headquarters. As he spoke, House of Representatives member for Uyo Urwan Ibesikpo, Insit Atai Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom, Mark Esset, interjected, questioning why certain figures he was referencing were absent from the documents provided to committee members. The situation escalated when Nwabonyi, a principal officer, demanded that the IGP provide a proper copy of the information to the lawmakers present, but the committee chairman overruled his point of order and allowed the IGP to continue his presentation. Frustrated the committee's decision, Nwabonyi stormed out of the session while engaging in a verbal exchange with several House members who jeered at him as he made his exit. Banking lawmaker Yusuf Kagdi expressed disappointment over the incident, defending the committee's decision to follow established parliamentary procedures and emphasizing that members should not interject without recognition. Once tensions subsided, the IGP
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. And now on to the rest of our stories. National University Commission NUC has called for a review of its Establishment Act to embrace its operational efficiency and address pressing challenges in Nigeria's higher education sector. The Commission's Executive Secretary, Professor Abdullahi Ribadu, made this appeal during the Commission's 2025 budget defense before the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Test Fund, chaired by Senator Muntari Danduse. Ribadu highlighted the need for legislative updates, pointing out that the current NUC Act, last revised in 2004, does not align with the evolving landscape of university education in Nigeria. The landscape has changed, yet the Act of 2004 remains the same. For us to perform our duties effectively, it's imperative that we review the NUC Act. We already have a draft in place and seek your support to move it forward, Ribadu stated. Ribadu outlined several challenges undermining the delivery of quality education in Nigeria, with inadequate funding being a recurring issue. In spite of consistent federal government support, including budgetary allocations and test fund interventions, funding remains an insurmountable challenge, he said. He further noted infrastructural deficits, limited access to higher education, and poor facilities for teaching, learning, and research. Vice Chancellor of Bayero State University, Kano, BUK, Bayero University, Kano, BUK, Professor Sage Abbas corroborated Ribadu's concerns. He lamented that universities are struggling to manage overhead costs like electricity and salaries, with current allocations barely meeting 2% of operational needs. Research is not captured in the national budget. Universities are left to fend for themselves in teaching, research, and operational management. This is a glaring gap in our national development strategy, Abbas emphasized. Chairman of the Senate Committee, Senator Muntari Danduse, acknowledged the funding challenges but stressed the importance of integrating internally generated revenue (IGR) into the financial strategies of university. As we deliberate on the 2025 budget, the NUC must demonstrate a clear and sustainable plan for leveraging IGR. This will enhance the competitiveness of our universities while easing the pressure on public resources, Danduse said. Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NITCOM, has described the suggestion by one chief, Dokun Olumofin, proposing a $500 tourism tax for Nigerians in the diaspora returning home during the festive 30 December period as ill-advised and potentially exploitative. In a statement by its Director of Media, Public Relations and Protocols Unit, Abdul Ramal Balogun, the organization said such a proposal was counterproductive. It described the advice as counterproductive and one that would rather discourage than encourage many Nigerians planning to come home. Such advice will no doubt mitigate efforts of the Diaspora Commission in encouraging the diasporans to visit home, invite others, and invest. The statement said, besides, the remittances of the diaspora in 2024 alone were the highest so far into the economy, as they have been investing massively in various sectors of the economy. The Commission added, it continued, the state 54 billion naira that Lagos hotels alone raked in December 2024, according to reports by an advisory firm, MO Africa Company Limited, is domiciled in the Nigerian economy. So why tax Nigerians coming to their country for various reasons and promoting their country positively? Such advice is also seen by NITCOM as some sinister move to damage the image and revenue streams of the government, just as its enforcement will equally pave way for corruption. For now, the Commission believes that the government does not need to issue direct tax, as it is already raking in money through challenge of indirect taxes on all visitors through entertainment and other sundry services. The role of governments in providing critical infrastructure such as security and ease of transportation, as seen under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should rather be encouraged. Economic stand, while the diaspora organically continues to return home and contribute to the nation's growth and development. Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has said that the activities of the Dangote refinery are impacting the European fuel market as it has reduced Nigeria's dependence on fuel imports. OPEC, in its monthly oil market reports published on 15 January 2025, noted the influence of the Lagos-based facility in Europe on the European market. The ongoing operational ramp-up efforts at Nigeria's new Dangote refinery and its gasoline exports to the international market will likely weigh further on the European gasoline market, the report stated. For many years, Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, struggled with energy challenges with state-owned refineries non-operational and heavy reliance on imported petrol and diesel. The situation worsened in 2023 when President Bola Tinubu removed fuel subsidies, causing prices to rise from 200 naira per litre to around 1,000 naira per litre, further burdening citizens. The $20 billion refinery owned by Africa's leading industrialist Aliko Dangote began operations in December 2023 with an initial output of 350,000 barrels per day and plans to reach its full capacity of 650,000 barrels per day by the end of 2025. Despite initial regulatory challenges, the refinery now supplies refined diesel, petrol and aviation fuel to local marketers. OPEC noted that with Nigeria now producing significant volumes of gasoline, European markets will need to find new destinations for their surplus supply. Continued gasoline production in Nigeria, a country that has relied heavily on imports to meet its domestic fuel needs in the past, will most likely continue to free up gasoline volumes in international markets, the report added. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, has said that the apex regulator was going to build on the traction it has made in terms of reforms in the foreign exchange market, remittance, diaspora engagement, and others in 2025. Cardoso said this on Thursday via a statement shared on his X handle, which was reposted on the official X handle of the Central Bank of Nigeria at Centbank last year. The CBN made several attempts to stabilize the naira, the latest being the introduction of the electronic foreign exchange matching system, which has boosted transparency in the market. The CBN also granted approval in principle to 14 new international money transfer operators to strengthen diaspora remittance via official means. On Thursday, Cardoso said, by engaging transparently with stakeholders from local communities to international partners, we bolstered Nigeria's credibility at the global level while addressing our nation's unique challenges. These efforts included decisive action, clearing the verified FX commitments, which amounted to $7 billion, discontinuing the central bank's quasi-fiscal interventions, unifying the multiple exchange rates windows. Furthermore, we introduced innovative policies and reforms across a range of areas, from the FX market and remittances to financial inclusion, diaspora engagement, compliance, private sector growth, and more. We also prioritize increasing investor confidence, enhancing the efficiency of our financial markets, and driving innovation across sectors as a result of these policies and reforms. Foreign capital imported into the country rose by over $6 billion in 2024, and Nigeria's external reserves have risen to over $14 billion, reflecting the growing confidence in our economy. This year, the Central Bank of Nigeria will build on this momentum, implementing sound monetary policies to safeguard our economic future, strengthening regulatory frameworks to inspire stability and confidence, and advancing initiatives that drive prosperity for all. The CBN is committed to driving sustainable and inclusive growth to support Nigeria's aspiration of achieving a $1 trillion economy. $1 trillion economy, I beg your pardon. Our vision remains clear: a trusted and respected central bank promoting confidence in the Nigerian economy, contributing to a stable, inclusive, and competitive nation. Nigerians spent about $2.39 million or 3.7 billion naira on foreign healthcare related services from January to 2024. From January to September 2024, findings by newsmen have shown. This is according to a report from the Central Bank of Nigeria on the amount spent on health-related and social services under the sectoral utilization of foreign exchange. A breakdown of the report showed that $2.3 million was spent in January, $0.0 million in February, $0.01 million in March, $0.00 million in April, $0.05 million in May, and $0.02 million in June. In July, $0.00 million was spent, $0.00 million was spent in August, and $0.10 million was spent in September. Our correspondent observed that the amount spent on foreign healthcare related services in the first 9 of 2023, $3.45 million was more than that of the first 9 months of 2024. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, reaffirmed the state's commitment to becoming a top destination for medical tourism in Nigeria and West Africa. Abayomi, who spoke at the Health Facilities Monitoring and Accreditation Agency's World Patient Safety Day in Lagos, stressed the Lagos State government's ongoing efforts to ensure a safe and effective healthcare delivery system. He noted that this included bold steps aimed at improving the health sector through innovation and technology. Federal High Court in Lagos on Thursday fixed January 20, 2025 for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to arraign the chairman of Honeywell Group, Chief Oba Otudeko, and the former First Bank Managing Director, Stephen Onasanya, for allegedly looting 12.3 billion naira from First Bank. Otudeko, a former chairman of First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, and Onasanya are to be arraigned alongside a former board member of Honeywell, Soji Akintoya, and the firm Anchorage Leisure Limited, allegedly connected to Otudeko. According to EFCC, the 4 defendants allegedly committed fraud in tranches of 5.2 billion naira, 6.2 billion naira, 6.150 billion naira, 1.5 billion naira, 6.2 billion naira, 6.150 billion naira, 1.5 billion naira, and 500 million naira between 2013 and 2014 in Lagos. In the 13 counts filed by EFCC counsel Mrs. Biliku Kisu Buhari on January 16, 2025, EFCC further claimed that the defendants made and altered and forged documents to deceive the bank. Otudeko, Onansanya, Akintoya, and Anchorage will be brought before Justice Chukwujeku Aneke, to whom the case registered as FHC/L/20C/2025 has been assigned. In count 1, the EFCC accused the defendants of conspiring to obtain the sum of 12.3 billion naira from First Bank Limited on the pretense that the said sum represented credit facilities applied for by Tech Dynamic Links Limited and Stallion Nigeria Limited, a representation they knew was false. The commission also alleged that on or about November 26, 2013, in Lagos, the defendants obtained the sum of 5.2 billion naira from First Bank on the pretense that the said sum represented credit facilities applied for by Tech Dynamic Links Limited, a representation they knew was false. The anti-graft agency claimed that the defendants between 2013 and 2014 in Lagos obtained 6.2 billion naira from First Bank Limited on the pretense that the said sum represented credit facilities applied for and disbursed to Stallion Nigeria Limited, a representation they knew was false. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1 on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, or you can watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. I am Favor Chikwesri Michael. Thank you for watching.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.